2 years ago, I made a bold decision to step away from the camera and prioritize my mental well-being. एक कहानी जहां दुनिया के मसाइल का सामना किया गया and tasting defeat, yet emerging victorious within myself.
More nicotine, turning my hands blue. No mascara under my eyes since you left with your lies. No makeup on my sleeve, now I can't keep it together.
Wakala Washwutsa Tasoza Akhrizalka Talewu. And oh boy, have things been a whirlwind. Did Wokalo ke zadir zyad taklifuna na tershwo, khozachi tavilar nashwo, madir zyad successes only do, and now it's about time. I fill you in on the details. मुझे लगा था कि जितना भी बुरा हुआ है मेरे साथ, उसके बाद बस अब सिर्फ अच्छा ही होगा. लेकिन शायद मुझे अपने रास्ते में आने वाले पहाड़ों का अंदाज़ा नहीं था. I don't regret anything that happened, as it was quite a crazy experience. And I had to go through this to come out stronger and more resilient than ever before.
Waiting for better, I'm too weak, letting you know that the half of me is just but the show.
It was 2022 when we last caught up. I've been reflecting on the journey so far. From creating the Beauty of Life video in Skardu to capturing memories at Katora Lake in the Memories video and delving into acceptance back in my village, Sherkot Kohat. Each piece has been a chapter in my story. Now, failure aims to tie together all these narratives. Throughout my experiences, Madre Kata lessons zdakru. Pelane lesson, acceptance, which proved to be a formidable yet essential lesson in life. जिससे मैंने सीखा कि असल recovery acceptance से ही शुरू होती है, even in the face of loss and hardship. Dvemane lesson, memories. I delved into the lesson of cherishing memories. Aansu kamzori ka nishan nahi, but rather a testament to the courage it takes to endure pain. Aur aakhiri lesson, amidst the chaos, I discovered the profound beauty of life. Despite the challenges, मुझे महसूस हुआ कि मैं कामयाबी की तरफ बढ़ रहा हूँ, हमदर्दी और अच्छे मौके हासिल कर रहा हूँ. लकद माम्बा स्टूडियो स्पॉन्सर्ड सफर्स कर दूँ था और बगैर द इंतज़ार द इन्वेस्टर्स रतलल. Throughout this period, I experienced a series of unfortunate events. I accidentally crashed my drone, was involved in a car accident, lost my cat, had a glass door break on me, resulting in an arm injury. Thereafter, I was in a hit and run incident where I witnessed a man's final moments as he collapsed onto me and my friend, reopening my stitches and causing further harm to my hand.
It's silent now, we don't say a word. We're just looking at each other. Tears in our eyes from the words we said. Yeah, it kinda broke my heart.
Even though things seemed to be going well career-wise at the time, I ended up facing problems eventually. Zabya wapas khpal zado mar kariyo sa milawshwo, hoping things would be better this time. It had been almost 2 years since we last spoke, and मैंने सोचा शायद हम लोग अब बड़े हो गए हैं और हम उससे बेहतर इंसान बन चुके हैं. During this time, the person who invested in Mamba Studio where I worked had a tough time, and it made it hard for us to work together. Sadly, the studio ended up closing down. इसीलिए मैं घर वापस चला गया and started taking on freelance work to make money. I thought about moving into an apartment with my cousin, but money was tight. so I wasn't sure if it would work out. Tsatsong shavivu gama mental health wander der gut impact prevasta level. Athar was tired, frustrated, lost and feeling heartbroken. इसीलिए मैंने decision लिया कि मैं social media और content creation छोड़ रहा हूँ for the time being, which ended up making me vanish from the online scene for a long time. With my apps deleted and my focus turned inward, I immersed myself completely in my own world, shielded from prying eyes. My total focus was khpal career और personal growth तरफ तकड़ल. वो पुराना दोस्त मेरा अब मुझसे ज़्यादा मिलने लग चुका था. Despite my efforts to maintain distance due to past emotions, it proved challenging, especially as he consistently visited my city and informed me of his whereabouts. He, along with other friends, extended invitations to outings reminiscent of our past. One such excursion took us to Shogran, where we relished in the joys of a splendid hotel, indulging in 2 days of snowy adventures. However, despite my belief that things had changed, I was deceiving myself as deep down I knew the truth all along. उसको मेरे अपार्टमेंट ढूंढने का पता चल चुका था और वो भी इंटरेस्टेड हो गया था इस आइडिया में. Nevertheless, given our financial limitations at the time, मावर तवीलू the next 6 months पूरे दीवारे के सोच नकू. I expressed to him my need to focus on improving my mental well-being as recent events has been weighing heavily on me that we refrain from meeting in person for the time being. Despite this, he continued to appear unexpectedly. मुझे कहता रहता था कि उसका दिल नहीं लगता अकेले, तो प्लीज अपार्टमेंट शेयर करते हैं. मेरा भी दिल लग जाएगा यहाँ. Although hesitant, I consulted with my cousin who shared my reservations but reassured me that we'd support each other through any potential challenges. Amidst these unfolding narratives, unforeseen side stories began to intertwine. While I was making plans, it seemed a higher power had its own agenda.
We pick up the pieces and start again. Don't give up, we're holding on.
Amir Ajmer, a friend from my acceptance video, had recently relocated to the city and we reconnected. Amir उस वक्त कॉल सेंटर में काम करता था, तो उसने मेरी गाइडेंस मांगी जिससे वो अपने आप को बेहतर कर सके. नमूसारा के कार शुरू करल गवा जनागता योडेर खजॉब मेलावशवल, prompting me to suggest he moves closer so we should work together, aligning with our shared aspiration for global travel. As Amir flourished in his new role, I mentored him to ensure his future stability. With his success, our dream of traveling the world together seemed more attainable. Eventually, succumbing to the persuasion of my friend, we moved in together, awaiting only my cousin's participation for our envisioned journey ahead. He said he needs a little longer, so you guys go ahead and he'll join us when it's his time. Ironically, on the day of our move, I lost a major client, settling the stage for what happened like impending failure.
Really sorry that, I'm just bringing the song to you like this today.
शायद मुझे कोई चीज जाने से रोक रही थी या तो फिर मुझे कुछ सिखाना चाहती थी. I was really stressed out already and after what had happened, I wanted to quit, but my friend kept encouraging me to stay. In our quest for a suitable living space, we initially settled on a somewhat cramped apartment that could accommodate 3 people. However, my cousin, recognizing the limitations of our current abode, suggested we search a comfortable option for our shared living arrangement. It was during this transitional period that I decided to capitalize on the time to further my knowledge of the freelancing business and hone my skills in the field. After diligent exploration, I stumbled upon a promising prospect. a larger apartment that seemed perfect for our needs. Despite its higher rental cost, I conducted a thorough financial assessment and concluded that the expense divided among 4 occupants, including me, my cousin, Amir, and another friend, was manageable. Confident in our ability to afford the space, I proceeded to sign the lease agreement and make the necessary payments. At this time, without anyone suspecting, every detail fell seamlessly into place, leaving the groundwork for what was to unfold next.
I don't wanna change who you are, but things you say is always one step too far. But I know that I've played my part.
हमारी उम्मीद जल्द ही खत्म हो गई। Shortly after sealing the deal, हमारे ग्रुप का एक बंदा मुआहदे से हट गया, leaving us in a state of chaos. उस सिर्फ मुद्रे का सान पाते हूँ, comprising myself, Amir and the remaining friend. मुझे बहुत बड़ा झटका लग चुका था क्योंकि जिस बंदे ने बैक आउट किया उसी की उम्मीदों से ही तो मैंने ये एग्रीमेंट साइन किया था. He was someone on whom I had relied upon heavily. Despite the setback, मैंने अपने emotions को प्रोडक्टिविटी में इस्तेमाल किया, throwing myself into rigorous workout routines and dedicating extra time to my freelancing endeavors. However, even though I seemed determined on the outside, I was really worried about what might happen next. I started to question if Amir was ready for what was coming, and I wasn't sure if my other friend could be counted on either. Maqbal Margari Sadi concerns bare ke khabare washwe, seeking reassurance of his commitment to our shared goals. But still, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling of impending trouble. Our financial investment in the new apartment made it impractical to simply walk away from the agreement, leaving me feeling trapped and vulnerable. Given this challenging situation, I decided to keep going, even if it meant giving up sleep and fighting against constant feeling of doubt. As a coping mechanism, I threw myself into the relentless pursuit of new clients and sought to enhance my online presence, viewing these efforts as essential preparations for navigating the uncertainties that lay ahead. लेकिन अब वक्त नहीं था कि मैं अपने आप को अफसोस करता. मुश्किलात खुजियाती दल शुरू शू खुमा खम मजबूती समख के तलो इरादा वका उन्दी उम्मीद के जख्ते रसा दे. मेरा असल सफ़र का मकसद पहले से कम हो गया जब हमारे दरमियान एतमादी मसाइल की परेशानियां मेरे दिमाग पर बहुत ज़्यादा जोर डालने लगी. वर्ल्ड ट्रैवल के ख्वाब देखने के बजाय मेरी असल तवज्जो हमारी ज़िंदगी को बेहतर करना और आमिर की तरफ से बेहतर ज़िंदगी की उम्मीद को पूरा करने में बदल गया. During this time, we had 2 cats, but sadly one of them died, making me feel even more stressed. Despite the difficulties, I started to do well in my freelancing work, getting more clients and good deals. But even though things seemed to be going well, I felt more and more hopeless and worried as each day went by. I couldn't sleep well and felt anxious all the time. Then, something that was bound to happen eventually occurred. My friend left us in the middle of our journey. Despite my warnings that our friendship would suffer irreparable harm, he heartlessly decided to prioritize his own interests and move to another country. This betrayal hurt deeply, especially because I was now financially stable and paying all the bills by myself. It seemed that his tendency to abandon others was a part of his character. As if his leaving wasn't bad enough, he also took valuable items from our shared space, things that were crucial for our survival. I even pleaded with him to leave those behind until we sorted things out, but he didn't listen. This left me to deal with the challenges ahead. He didn't just leave abruptly. He packed his belongings, emptied the refrigerator, and left our food on the shelf, treating us as if we were some stray dogs. पिछले हादसों से लेकर एक सिलसिले दर सिलसिले मुसीबतों तक मेरे अपने कज़न और दोस्त की ताज़ा गद्दारियों के साथ मिलकर मुझे पूरी तरह मायूसी महसूस होने लगी। Even though people praised me and said they were proud of me, I still felt like I wasn't good enough and everything was going wrong. It was tough to accept that none of this was what I had expected or wanted. मैं महसूस कर रहा था कि मैं नाकामी का शिकार हूँ जबकि इतना कुछ कर चुका था। दुनिया ने मुझे क्यों छोड़ा, अल्लाह ने मुझे इस सब पर से क्यों गुजारा और मेरे साथ ही क्यों। I would just cry on that prayer mat. अल्लाह से मदद की भीख मांगता रहा। My entire world had crushed. Everyone told me to go back to home, but I couldn't go back because now this was personal. The world wanted me to fail, and I wasn't just going to fail. So I told my agent that we are staying until I decide to move out, but until then it's just us two. तो मैं और आमिर हम दोनों कुछ महीनों तक इस अपार्टमेंट में रहे। मैं कभी बाहर नहीं गया और ना ही किसी से मिला। अगर कोई मुझसे मिलने आता था तो ठीक, वरना तो ना मैं किसी से मिलता था और ना ही किसी के पास जाता था। I was working on building my career and I was working on my body, but the thoughts would always haunt me. It haunted me for every single day for as long as I lived in there. I didn't know what life was teaching me, but I blamed myself for everything that had happened. I kept calling myself a failure. I just kept doing what I wanted to because by now it had gotten too personal. Da kisa sirf daji ke nade khatma. Even after my friend left, he continued to hassle me through our agent, insisting on getting back the money he had invested in our plans.
अपनी एग्रीमेंट अपडेट किया हुआ है, ये नहीं किया हुआ, ये जो से भी है ना, वो अपार्टमेंट आप खाली करवा के ना मेरा जो सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट है वो मेरा वापस करवा दें।
दी टोल हसद के गना दा पोयरू चमादों गखपल जबान एजेंट तावेर खड़े वो।
ठीक है यार, इजी है, ठीक है कर दे। और हमने तो साल का एग्रीमेंट करना है ना, इजी लाइफ है और कोई 6 महीने से पहले हमने कुछ छोड़ना भी नहीं है। Go for it.
It was like a wound that never fully healed. Every time I felt like I was moving past it, his interference would bring back all the pain and frustration. Zapadi poe nashwonchere tsagadda se vile kaulu. Khomata dora patawa tsazaba gakhpal progress khara paulo ta napregadon. Gader zyad koshishuna wakru tsazaba prevzon bialande. But I stayed strong and determined to remain steady despite the chaos. However, internally I was crumbling. My heart felt heavy with the weight of my own perceived failures. The fear of falling short, of not meeting expectations, especially those of my friend Amir and my family, consumed me. The idea of facing them with the bitter taste of defeat was almost unbearable. Athar was struggling, feeling lost in a sea of uncertainty, grappling with the burden of past mistakes. It felt like I was letting everyone down, and the weight of that realization was crushing me. After living in that place for a while, Amir felt tired of it and suggested we move somewhere else to save money. He persuaded me to relocate to E11, a part of Islamabad I didn't like very much. Eventually, we found a new place in Fortune Residency in E11.
Yeah, I did it to myself. Can't blame nobody else. Did it to myself. Yeah, I did it to myself. Yeah, I did it to myself. Did it to myself. Can't blame nobody else.
द नवैज़ डेर खवो मुपा। अब हमें वो पुरानी यादें परेशान नहीं करती थी। आरसाबी मारगला हिल्स ता कातोदबाद बदमा दासड़ बिल्कुल पसकून के श्वल। I found it quite intriguing that our neighbors were content creators. They were well-known names in the industry. They were Uzair, Rehan and Rafe. Uzair को local business का काफ़ी पता था, whereas my expertise lay more in international matters. Our instant connection led to a strong friendship with each one of them right from the start. Also, one day there was a knock on our door and a delivery person was there with food meant for our apartment, but the phone number associated with the order didn't match ours. We found out that it was meant for a Chinese living nearby. Now this person woman is Norzine. She became one of my closest friends right away. She would visit us daily and we would hold a conversation for hours and hours, hearing each other out and just being there for each other. इन नए दोस्तों के साथ मैं दोबारा खुश होने लगा था. मैंने पहले की सभी नेगेटिविटी को पॉजिटिविटी से बदल दिया था. मैं और भी ज्यादा मेहनत करता रहा इन कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स से सीखकर. हम अक्सर प्रोडक्ट शूट्स पर काम करते थे घंटों तक, तो ये मेरे जहनी सेहत के लिए अच्छा था और मैं पिछले वक्त के बारे में नहीं सोचता था. वो अक्सर मुझे अपने शूट्स के लिए साथ लेकर जाते थे. उनको मैं अच्छा लगने लगा था, जैसे कि वो सब मुझे अच्छे लगने लग गए थे. Marder zard yotolo sazrawa gidal or biaozer zadzansa sponsored trip by invite crew, including a visit to Skardu. It was surprising because I have already been there multiple times already, but this was still exciting. We embarked on a sponsored journey. हमारा सफर लाहौर से शुरू हुआ, जहां हमने प्रोडक्ट शूट्स किए मॉडल्स के साथ. ये प्रोडक्ट शूट लश ऑर्गेनिक्स और फिएगो के लिए था. ब्यामू सियालकोट के रिबॉन वेयर पा ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री स्टाइल प्रमोशनल शूट वकरल टू प्रमोट देयर क्लोथिंग ब्रांड. Then we went to Murray to promote a newly built hotel called Fiora. We stayed there for 2 days. As we traveled, memories from the past flooded my mind relentlessly, passing by the site of my car accident and later Baragali, a place I used to go to frequently with my late father and my family, stirred up a whirlwind of emotions. It became an emotional roller coaster for me, and I chose to go with the flow, allowing life to guide me where it may. And then we left for Luxus Hunza, a Tabad Lake resort. I had always heard about this resort, and being sponsored by them was quite an honor. This was only possible because of Uzair. This was such a grand, luxurious resort in Hunza. और फिर हम मेपल रिजॉर्ट्स गए स्कर्दू में. Moving from one hotel to another, both promoting them and gaining insights in the local market dynamics. And in the end, I helped Rehan make a video for Zero Lifestyle's new watch. So for that, we went to Surfaranga Desert.
You know that we shouldn't keep it up like this. We hurt each other's feelings on and on.
After coming back from the trip, I felt a massive change. Amir told me something which turned my world upside down. He said my friend came to the apartment when I wasn't there to visit Amir and to see the cat, and then the memories came flooding back. जो चीज़ें मैं भूलने के लिए गया था नॉर्थ, अब वही चीज़ें मुझे फिर से परेशान करने लगी थी. मैं उस पर बहुत गुस्सा था कि उसने मेरे अपार्टमेंट में आने की हिम्मत कैसे की. उसके किए हुए सब कुछ के बाद क्या अब वो यहाँ पर भी मेरे लिए अपनी बदकिस्मती लेकर आने की कोशिश कर रहा था. मुझे ध्यान लगाना और अपने आप को पहचानने में मुश्किल होती गई. It felt like I was burning out. I hit a low point where I couldn't muster the energy to pursue new clients, and many of my existing clients has paused their business activities. Shortly thereafter, I faced a disrespectful act from the building staff. They cut off our electricity. It was a chaotic situation, and to make matters worse, I wasn't even present at the time, and I had guests in my place. But I was at home, preoccupied with my sick mother and already under immense stress, learning about their actions. I didn't hesitate to confront them. I made it clear that they had chosen the wrong person to disrespect and declared that I would immediately pack up and leave. True to my word, I I swiftly gathered my belongings and returned home. I refused to tolerate any further disrespect from anyone in my life, and I have decided I would no longer extend patience to those unwilling to reciprocate.
It's not easy to start over. I've been there a couple of times, starting over.
This video was basically me being okay with everything. These last 2 years have been non-stop stress, leaving me no time to process anything that's happened. That's why I'm feeling so burnt out now. It was only a matter of time before I hit a breaking point, right? Lately, I haven't felt like working and money hasn't been a priority because I just want some time for myself. I think I deserve that much, don't you think so? मैं अब एक रूटीन में वापस आया हूँ जिसमें वर्कआउट करना, पढ़ना, बेहतर नींद लेना और वीडियो गेम्स खेलना शामिल है, जो मैं बहुत अरसे से नहीं कर पाया। घर वापस आने पे मुझे दोबारा मौका मिला है कि मैं अपनी गुजरी हुई गलतियों पर गौर व फिक्र करूँ और अपने आप को बेहतर बनाऊँ। मैंने खुद पर भरोसा और मुश्किलात का सामना करने की सलाहियत को महसूस किया है। Creating this video was very time consuming as I sought closure. Now that I've discussed everything one final time, my sole focus would be on what lies ahead in my future. Throughout my journey, there were many victories and losses, successes and failures. What the future holds, I can't say for certain. That's a story for another time.